वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान्नस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणम् श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। संसारसागरनिमग्नजनोदिधीर्षुः यो वातरच्छिवनृसिंहगुरुच्छलेन जाढ्यान्धकारहरणं करुणासमुद्रम् तं दक्षिणास्य मनिषं हृदि भावयामि। तदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखम् नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
Shloka number 29. Mandamadhyamarupapi vairagyena shamadhina.
मन्दमध्यमरूपापि वैराग्येण शमाधिना
मन्दमध्यमरूपापि
Prasadena guru seyam pravriddha suyate phalam.
प्रसादेन गुरोः सेयं प्रवृद्धा सूयते फलम्
After having presented adhikaritvam, that is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, the fourfold qualifications which makes a person an adhikari, a sadhaka, to pursue the journey, spiritual journey. Now the Acharya, he highlights in the following shlokas the importance of certain sadhana among the sadhana chatushtaya. Because one may ask, Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shakka, Sampatti, and Mokshutvam, among these, which are important, which should, which are indispensable, or in the presence of which, when they are present, others will be there, or others can be cultivated. But those, without those, the moksha is ruled out. So that is the topic. And for this shloka, Acharya has given a long commentary, which we have seen. Now this shloka, the mumukshutvam, otherwise called mumukshuta, which is the last among the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. In enumeration, it is the last, but its in importance, it is not the last. So, in importance, mumukshutvam is the most important one among all. Because the more intense the desire for moksha, the more intense will be the endeavor for knowledge. Moksha is only by jnanam. So the more intense the desire for freedom, the more intense will be the effort for acquiring knowledge. Because knowledge only gives moksha. And if there is intense tivra mumukshutvam, then it will fill up all the qualities which are lacking. Shama, Dhamma, or even Vairagya, etc. Therefore, Acharya says here, Manda Madhyama Rupapi Mumukshuta. Mumukshutayaha Arambaha Mandavastayaha Bhavati Chedapi. Sa Madhyama Bhuta Ante Pravruddhavastam Gachati. Ityukte, it means the mukshutvam at the beginning stage, it would be manda. It will be feeble. Even though it is feeble, slowly when the desire for moksha increases, pravriddha becomes tivra. That becomes the karanam for moksha. Moksha sa karanam bhavati. Mokshasya karanam bhavati. Pravriddha mumukshuta suyate palam. Sa yam seyam. Sa referring to this mumukshuta. Sa mumukshuta. Sa yam mumukshuta. Manda madhyama rupapi. Even though it is manda, feeble, madhyama, dull or moderate, manda madhyama. Why manda madhyama? Arambe manda bhavati. In the beginning it is manda, not that much tibra, not that intense. Mumukshutvam is that is why we look for the teacher, we go to the classes, attend, want to know. It is not that much tibra, but interest, some interest is there. As I said, it is not in the, it is one of the priority in the priority list. Therefore, it is manda, dull. When it becomes madhyama, from dullness being dull to moderate, it increases. So manda becomes madhyama. So manda madhyama rupe. Manda cha madhyama cha manda madhyame. Manda madhyame rupa yasyaha sa mumukshuta manda madhyama rupa mumukshuta. So the mumukshutvam, which is in the beginning stage manda, and when it grows becomes madhyama. So therefore manda madhyama rupa api vairagyena shamadina. Vairagyam iha aigika amushvika bhogeshu vitrishna vairagyam we have seen. Iha mutra palabhoga viragaha. Dispassion, detachment. And shamadina shamadana uparati titiksha shraddha samadha ityadi shatka sampatti shakka sampatya. Through all the other six-fold qualification. And prasadena, prasadam is anugraha. Kasya guroho anugrahena acharyasya anugraha, through the grace, to the ashirvada, to the grace of the guru. Sa iyam mumukshut, sa iyam referring to this mumukshuta. Pravriddha bhavati, it becomes intense. When it becomes intense, then it suyate. Suyate is janayati. Palam janayati. Palam is Jivan muktihi mokshaha, freedom. Moksha palam janayati. So therefore, this mumukshutvam, which is manda to start with, slowly it becomes madhyama and finally becomes tivra. The tivra, the word is not used, pravriddha is used. Pravriddha means tivra mumukshutvam. In the beginning it is manda, tatkaliki mumukshuta. By effort becomes madhyama. And when it manda madhyama rupa api, and that becomes tivra by vairagya and shamadhi shatka sampatti. When it becomes tivra, then it becomes a hetu, the karanam, the cause for giving the palam, which is moksha. The mumukshuttam become should become mature. That is paripakva. When it attains a paripakva avastha, that is tivra, intense. There are stages in life where we feel personally, when it comes to us, then we want to be free. We want to get out from all these things, thinking all this as nonsense. So far, it was not nonsense. But once the intense desire comes, we want to just give up all these things, rejecting them as nonsense, and we want moksha alone. But that has to be sustained. When it is not sustained, then it is mandar madhyama. It has to be sustained. If it is sustained for a length of time, not becoming diminished for whatever the reason, it continues to be Tivra, then it has to give the result. So therefore, and also it depends on the sadhaka to make it grow, to make it pravruddha. One has to keep on burn this oil of mumukshutvam. Never should the person let down himself. Uddared atmanam na avasadayet, as Bhagavan says in the Gita. One has to live oneself by oneself. However, the Shastram or the teacher gives Upadesha, but the end result is purely depends on the effort of the sadhaka, the intense, the desire of the sadhaka. Even in Vyavahara, we see when there is intense desire for something, we don't keep quiet when there is intense desire. There is pravritti, we work for it, we try to get it. Even if we fail, we don't give up. The same thing must be there for moksha. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he says, if a person really sincerely cries for 3 days, you will get Bhagavan. So it means it shows that intense desire. Just 3 days, he says, whatever that 3 days is just pachara. It is not 3 or 4 days. Intense desire. So therefore, how to make it the desire intense? Vairagyena. Vairagyam is punaha dosha darshanam. Again and again seeing the defects in the bhogavastu, in the vishayas, so that there will not be asakti, anasakti, detachment become dridam, very strong. So therefore, the mind is withdrawn from the vishayas of the world, that is vairagya. And shama, dhamma, etc. Shama we know, mano nigraha, indriya nigraha, damaha, ityadi bigi, sadhanegi, shamadina. The chitta vikshepa is that becomes chitta vikshepaha shamyati, the distraction of the mind. Mind should not be carried away by the external things, because that is how the indriyas, the mind are made. They are made extrovert. Paranchikani vitranat swayambhu parang pashyati nantaratpan. So therefore, chitta vikshepa, scattering of the mind, the extrovertedness of the mind, that has to be pacified. So therefore, shamadina, vairagyena, shamadina, and more important, guru prasadena. That is paramam karanam guru prasadaha. Guruhu prasidati, shishyasya sadaram drishtva. Therefore, Ashirvada of the Guru is important. The entire parampara is important. Therefore, Guruhu anugrahena. When the Guru anugraha is there, when the teacher utters the Mahavakya, then Mahavakya se Artham Spurati. Arthaspuranam happens. Therefore, Guru Kripa is important. The blessings of the Guru. That will give the result. The result is guaranteed. Sa palam suyate. That is Sakshat Aparoksha Jnanam. Sakshat Aparoksha Jnanam Aham Brahma Asmi Iti Jnanam Janayati. That is a palam. Katam Avidya Bandhanana Nashanena. By destroying all the bondages caused due to avidya, and by Aparoksha Jnanam is this Aham Brahma Asmi, I am that, by that knowledge. All the avidya and the bondages are destroyed. And that is moksha palam. Moksha palam, suyate. Therefore, manda mumukshutaya mokshaha nabhavati. Madhyama mukshutaya mokshaha nabhavati. It has to become tibra. Tibra mumukshutaya eva mokshaha siddhyati. Only by tibra moksha, mumukshutvam, the palam moksha is gained, for which The Vairagya should be nurtured, Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi, and of course Guru Prasada, the grace of the Guru. All these three are important. Then Sa Tibra Mumukshuta Mokshadatri Bhavati. It becomes the giver of the moksha. The Mokshadatri is Mumukshuta, Tibra Mumukshuta. So Yada Mumukshuta Pravriddha Bhavati, become more and more intense. That can be made intense by Vairagya and Samadhi, Shatka Sampatti, of course, Guru Prasada. So as the Vairagyam becomes more and more, Mumukshuttam also becomes more and more. Vairagyam increases, Mumukshuttam also increases. They are proportionate. They have got direct connection. As the Vairagyam decreases, Mumukshuttam also decreases. Vairagyam increases, Mumukshuttam increases. Therefore, Mumukshuttam is directly proportional to Vairagyam. Therefore, Vairagyena Samadhina Mumukshutvam Mumukshuta Pravriddha Bhavati and Guru Prasadena, of course, by the God's grace. Guru, because why God's grace? Guru is not different from Bhagavan. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha, Guru Prasadena, Atava Ishvara Prasadena. So Guru and Ishvara should not be distinguished. Let's say Ishvara who has taken the form of the Guru, because Bhagavan directly cannot come, he can come only in some form. And he has come in the form of the Guru, therefore, he is available for teaching and therefore for knowledge, giving knowledge, therefore Guru Prasada. Somebody has to give knowledge. Because of your prayer, intense prayer, Bhagavan was pleased and he sent someone to impart this knowledge. And that the medium that of, of transfer of this knowledge is Guru. And he has to be looked upon as Bhagavan only. Therefore, Guru Prasadaha is Ishvara Prasadaha. So Mumukshutvam is intensified by the grace of the Lord. Tibra Mumukshutvam, and that Tibra Mumukshutvam Phalam Suyate. It will produce a result of Vedanta Adhyayanam. What is the result of this Vedanta Shravanam Adhyayanam? Moksha. So therefore it gives a result. And the commentator says here, Ittam cha Mumukshayaha Mokshecha Rupatve Api. Yada sa pravriddha, you can supply kriya for the pravriddha bhavati. Tada eva palam prasute iti anena tat pravriddhyartam Vishaya Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Guru Prasada Labhartam Prayatraha Kartavyaha Purushena iti Uktam Bhavati. Simple sentence. That is, Mumuksha is Mokshasya Icha, Moktum Icha, Mumuksha. This Manda Mumukshutvam Muktim Datum Na Shaknoti. Samanya Icha, Moksha Icha should not be a Samanya Icha. We have Icha, desire for many things. Mumuksha also is one of the Icha. Yada Samanyena Bhavati, Tada Muktim Na Dadati. The Samanya Icha should not be Samanya Icha, should not be an ordinary desire. In fact, Mumuksha is not an ordinary desire, and it should not be just like any other desire. When that Icha becomes Atyantam Tivra, then that becomes Sakshat Palam Janagati, Moksham Janagati, Moksha Palam Janagati. Therefore, Pravriddhyartam, Moksha, Mumukshayaha Pravriddhyartam, Kim Kartavyam, Prayatnaha Karaniyaha. Prayatnaha Katam Bhavati, Katam Bhavet Prayatnaha iti Pritchet. How to cultivate this Tivra Mumukshutvam? If you ask, for that Acharya says, Vishaya Vairagyam, Samadhi Shatkam, and Guru Prasada Labhaha. So it says here, Ittam, Evam Prakarena, Ittam cha, in this manner. Mumuksha is Strilinga. Rama Shabdavat, Ramayaha. Mumukshayaha, that is desire for moksha. Moksha icha rupatve api. Even though it is in the form of desire for moksha. Mokshayaha, in the form of desire for moksha, api yadas sada sa pravriddha bhavati, when it becomes pravriddha. Yada pravriddha bhavati, tada eva palam prasute. When it becomes intense, mumuksha is mukta, michya is mumuksha. Even though it is in the form of desire for moksha, only when it becomes intense, it becomes the giver of the result. Palam prasute. Palam is moksha rupam palam. Prasute janayati. Iti, by this, anena vakyena, Acharya says, tat pravridyartam means kasya pravridyartam, mumukshayaha pravridyartam. For intensifying the desire for moksha, what are the effort should be made? Effort for what? What is the effort? And effort to increase. Or effort is required for what? Vishaya Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka, Guru Prasada Labhartam Prayatnaha Kartavyaha. Vishaya Vairagya, for gaining more and more dispassion. As I told, when dispassion is more, mokshatam is more. They are connected. And similarly, Samadhi Shatka and Guru Prasada Lavaha, for gaining the ways of the Guru. Prayatnaha Kartavyaha, effort. Udyogaha Prayatnaha Kartavyaha, by the person, by the sadhaka, Purushena, iti, Uttam Bhavati, Katitam Bhavati. Therefore, effort should be made to cultivate Vishaya Vairagyam. Vishaya Vairagyam means Vishayeshu or Vishayanam Vairagyam, Vishaya Vairagyam. Vishaya Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Guru Prasada Labhartam. It is one word, the compound. Vishayanam Vairagyam, Vishaya Vairagyam. Samadhi Shatkam, Shamaha Adihi Eshamte Shamadhayaha. Guru Prasadaha, Guroho Prasadaha. Prasada means grace of the Guru. So Vishaya Vairagyam cha, Samadhi Shatkam cha, Guru Prasadaha cha, Itaretra Dvanda Samasa. Vishaya Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Guru Prasadaha. Tesham Labhaha. Gaining of which, for the gaining of which, Sadhartam, Labhartam is Labhaya. Vishya Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Guru Prasada Labhaya Idam Tadartam Prayatnaha, effort should be made. When it becomes intense, it gives Palam. Iti Mumukshutvam is of three types. Mumukshuta is of three types: Manda, Madhyama, and Tivra. When it's Manda, it should be slowly nurtured, should be converted into Madhyama. When it becomes Madhyama, the effort should be made to cultivate Vishya Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka, Guru Prasada. Then it becomes Tivra. Then when it becomes Tivra, then only it gives the result, intended result, which is Moksha, Palam, Asute. So therefore, Mumukshutvam is highlighted the more, because that is the, among the four, is because it means the person should be a Mumukshu, should not let the desire for moksha, desire for moksha becomes volatile and vanish. No, should not be allowed to go away. because being born as a human being itself is a rarity that we don't realize it because we just take it for granted. And having experienced this world, the pain and sufferings, they are more. Of, of course, pleasures are there, pleasures being there, but it is always mixed with the pain. So nothing is really pleasurable, really speaking. It is mixed with the pain. Sukham is there, but Sukham is mixed with Dukkham. Therefore, all the time we are bombarded with pain, sufferings. That is what we see because we have body. Body is there, pain will be there. And Jara and Mrityu, that is the intense pain. If one really wants to escape from this, then this is the only way. There is no other way. Moksha is the only way. By that, we can escape from this cycle of Jananam and Maranam, which is samsara, which is what samsara is. So samsara is dukkhamayam. If one wants to be free from this, then only way is gaining moksha and being free from this samsara. So one has to personally experience, recognize, acknowledge this fact. When it doesn't happen, when a person is carried away by the transient, the temporal, pleasures of the world, then this mokshatvam will be feeble. Again, when something happens, then the desire comes. So every time something need not happen for us to be a mumukshu. So that's why maturity, one has to understand the nature of the world, the nature of relationship, any human relationship. It's all feeble. So they're all only convenience. It's not real. And for moksha, nobody can work for moksha. You have to work for your moksha. Others can, yeah, others, nobody can help. Others can help you when you are in some suffering. That is fine. But for this ultimate, the suffering of samsara, nobody can escape. Even the guru also cannot help. Help. Only one has to be the savior of oneself. In fact, that is the only savior. There is no real savior. Maybe we can call guru as a savior, but that is within code, not really. Guru can also only give the teaching. One has to save oneself. That is why Bhagavan very clearly says, Uddared Atmanatmanam. You have to lift yourself up. Other factors may be a supporting factors, but the responsibility is purely yours. So Tivra Mumukshutvam and therefore Moksha. As long as we don't really recognize the pain, the suffering of this samsara, so long we will not be really working for moksha. Moksha maybe is just one of the priority in the list. That is with Tiva Mokshutvam. Okay. Then, having said this, the Acharya, the next shloka, is going to say, among the fourfold qualifications, two plays an important, the sadhanam. All the four are important. Which among these, which are more important? In the present, when they are present, others can be either cultivated or others, even if they are feeble, it becomes tivra in course of time. So what are they two, if you ask? That is highlighted in the next shloka. For which the commentator gives a sangati, sadhana chatushtaya madhye, द्वितीय तुरीय सत्वे सर्वं तत्रास्ति न अन्यथा इति आह वैराग्यमिति. What is that? द्वितीय तुरीय सत्वे. So Sadhana Chatushtayam. We know Chatvari Sadhanani Avashyakani Sadhana Chatushtayam fourfold. Viveka Vairagya Samadhi Shatka Sampatti Mokshutvam. Dvitiya means second. Turiya means fourth. Chaturtha. So Pratama Sadhanam is among the list Viveka. Dvitiya Sadhanam is Vairagya. Therefore Dvitiya stands for Vairagya. And Tritiya is Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Turiya is Chaturtha, fourth one. Fourth one is Mumukshutvam. So Dvitiya Sadhanam Vairagyam. Turiya Chaturtha Sadhanam Mumukshutvam. So therefore, Yada Vairagyam Mumukshutvam Cha, when Vairagyam Mumukshutvam. When these two Atyantam Dridham Bhavati, Dvitiya Turiya Sattve, when they become Dridham, then Anyat, Sarvam means referring to other thing, Viveka, Shamadayaha, they will be naturally present. When these two are present, other thing will be present. When these two are not there, when others are present, then it will be Nishpala. Na Anyata Itiyaha, otherwise no. When these two are not there, other sadhanams, other qualifications are there, then it will be Nishpala, it will be useless. The importance of Vairagyam and Mumukshutvam is highlighted in the Shloka. Let us read. Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam tibram yasya tu vidyate.
वैराग्यं च मोक्षत्वं तीव्रं यस्य तु विद्यते
तस्मिन्नेवार्थवन्तस्युः फलवन्तः शमादयः.
तस्मिन्नेवार्थवन्तस्युः फलवन्तः शमादयः.
There is another shloka in other Prakarana Grantha. Mandamadhyama lopataha Trivida sahi drishyate vairagyam cha mumukshutvam yasya tivram vimuchyate. Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam yasya tivram vimuchyate. When vairagya and mumukshutvam are there, tivram, then it will vimuchyate. That becomes the cause, the karanam for moksha. So sadhana chatushtaye vairagyam dvitiyam sadhanam asti. Mokshuttam chaturtham. Turiyam. Turiyam is chaturtha. Vairagyam, we know, it is aigika para paralaukika bhogeshu tivra vairagyam vitrishna. And mumuksha is mokshe drida icha mumuksha. When these two are present, sarvam tatra asti, as commentator says, sarvam tatra asti, everything else, sarvam tatra asti, everything exists. Na anyata, otherwise no. Otherwise no means it is tivra vairagya mumukshuttam nasti, then samadhi shatka, viveka samadhi shatka, samadhi nam prayojanam nasti. It means they cannot give moksha. So therefore, vairagyam and mumukshutvam, these are important. That's why sadhana chatushtaya madhye. Sadhananam chatushtayam, sadhana chatushtayasya madhye, among them, dvitiya turiya sattve. Dvitiyam cha turiyam cha dvitiya turiya. Sattam is presence. Dvitiya turiya sattve. Sattve is presence. Vidyamanam bhavati. Na anyata, otherwise no. So Therefore, Acharya says here, among the sadhana chatushtaya, this anga, visheshataha, this vairagya and mumukshutvam, vairagya mumukshutvayoho, pradanyam darshayati acharya. Importance of vairagya and mumukshutvam are highlighted in this shloka. A sadhaka who has vairagya and mumukshutvam tibram, then the shamadayaha, shamadshakta sampattihi, etc., that will becomes arthavantaha, palavantaha sihu, arthavantaha, palavantaha sihu. It becomes meaningful. When vairagyam and mumukshutvam is there, tibra vairagyam and tibra mumukshutvam, then other sadhanam becomes palavantaha, arthavantaha becomes meaningful, and they will palavantaha api. Arthavantaha, palavantaha. Arthavantaha bhavati, palavantaha bhavati. Arthavantaha, fruitful, produces moksha. Palavantaha gives the result. Same meaning. So, therefore, vairagyam and mumukshutvam is indispensable. So, vairagya mumukshutvayoho anivaryata. The importance is what is highlighted here. When these two are there, atyantam dridam yada dridam bhavati, then it will give the result, moksha. Then shama, etc., they become supporting factors to give moksha. So shama, dhamma, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhanam, te arthavantaha, prayojanavantaha bhavanti. Palavantaha bhavati, jnana rupa palam datum samarthaha bhavanti. When these two, vairagyam, mumukshutvam, tibram, yasya is referring to the sadhaka, yasya, purushasya, sadhakasya, tibram vidyate, when they are tibram, intensely present, it means the person is tibra vairagi, tibra mumukshuhu, bhavati yada bhavati, then tasmin eva, in that person alone, arthavantaha, prayojanavantaha, prayojanam, that Shamari Shadka Sampattihi, other sadhanas becomes useful, purposeful. They are not prayojanam. And also palavantaha. Palam is moksha. Moksha palam datum, to give moksha pala, they are samarthaha bhavanti. When there is tibra vairagyam and tibra mumukshutvam. Otherwise, no, na anyata. If vairagyam is not there, mumukshutvam also, mokshe abhilasha nasti. Then, even though Samadhi, Shatka Sampatti, all these things are there, they become Nishpalaha Bhavanti, Anarthavantaha Nishpalaha. They are useless. And also, it will not give the result. Neither it is useful, nor it will give the intended result, which is moksha. So, Arthavantaha, Palavantaha. Palavantaha means Paladayakaha. Moksha Rupa Pala Dayakaha. Palavantaha, Palavatta Shabda. Palavan, Palavanto, Palavantaha, Tatadita. Similarly, Arthavantaha, Arthavan, Arthavanto, Arthavantaha. Arthavantaha means Prayojanavantaha. Sartakaha, meaningful, purposeful. This is Arthavantaha. So, Shamadayaha, Bhagavachanam. Shamadayaha, Arthavantaha, Palavantaha bhavati. Yada, Vairagyam, Tibram Vairagyam, Mumukshutvam, Yasya Vidyate. Tasmin eva, for that person alone, the Shamadayaha becomes Arthavantaha, Palavantaha becomes useful, purposeful, and also will be fruitful, will be the giver of the result, which is moksha. Otherwise, no. Arthaha means prayojanam. Artha has got different meanings, but in this context, we have to take Artha means prayojanam. Arthaha prayojanam yesham asti iti arthavantaha. Similarly, palam. Palam yesham asti iti Palavantah. Arthavantah Palavantah. Shamadayah Arthavantah Palavantah Syuhu. Syat Syatam Syuhu Linglakara. Bhavanti Ityartha. Tasmineva, in that sadhaka, in that person, in that mumukshu. So therefore, vairag mukshutve vina samadhi sampattihi samadhi sampatina moksha na siddhyati. Samadhayaha arthavantaha na bhavanti palavantaha cha na bhavanti. Moksha palam, moksha rupa palam pradatum na shaknuvanti. Ityartaha. That is the meaning. So they have become the producer of moksha as only when Vairagya and Mumukshutvam are present. Otherwise, no. It is the importance of Vairagyam and Mumukshutvam is highlighted in this shloka. So therefore, if these two are present, then that becomes the hetu, the karanam for moksha. The Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, in fact, it is possible only when backed up by Vairagyam and Mumukshutvam. So when Vairagyam and Mumukshutvam is there, then only Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, all those things will be there. So therefore, when they are not there, then they will not be there. So they are connected. So therefore, Tasmin Purushe, in that person alone, this Shamadeyaha will become fruit. Otherwise, Shama, Mano Nigraha, what is the use? If Vairagyam is not there, mind management, having mastery over mind, a person may enjoy extrasensory perception, some mastery over mind. What is the use? Having control over sense organ, mastery over sense organs, what is the use? A person would be able to concentrate on a thing for a length of time. What is the use? If Viveka and Vairagya, if Vairagya and Mukshuttam is not there, when other things are present, then it will not serve the purpose of giving moksha. Maybe for gaining some material accomplishments. Material accomplishments, they may be useful. There we require concentration, chitta samadhanam. Even when we listen to the class, chitta samadhanam, the mind should be focusing of the mind. It is a feat. It is not an easy thing. Focusing on the topic, focusing on the words, listening to the words, and not distracted is not an easy thing. It is and continuously. And now we have got limited attention span also. Therefore, it is not. I think it is a feat which can be achieved by Shamadama, etc. Only when Vairagya and Mumukshutvam is there, then it becomes complete, a package for giving moksha. Otherwise, no. So, the Vairagya and Mumukshutvam, these two important qualities are highlighted. And the shloka is simple. Shloka, we can understand the meaning. Vairagyam cha mukshutvam tibram. Yasya sadhakasya vidyate. Tasmin eva, that is in that sadhaka alone. Yasya and tasya. Yasya and tasmin. Yaha saha. Whenever yaha is there, yata shabda, tat shabda also will be there. Tasmin eva. In that person alone, arthavantaha syuhu. Other sadhana, arthavantaha syuhu. Other sadhanas, which are shamadayaha. Other sadhanas becomes meaningful and palavantaha fruitful. Otherwise, no, na anyata. And Acharya gives a long commentary to this. We'll read in this next class. Now we will read the next shloka. Together we will read the commentary. Next class. Etayor mandata yatra viraktatvamukshayoho.
एतयोर्मन्दता यत्र विरक्तत्वमुमुक्षयोः
Maro salilabat Salilavat tatra shamadhet bhanamatrata.
मरुसलिलवत्तत्र क्षमादेर्भानमात्रता
Etayoho mandata yatra viraktatta mumukshayoho marau salilavat tatra shamadehe bhanamatrata. Etayoho referring to what? Vairagya mukshayoho viraktatva is vairagya. Viraktatva mukshayoho etayoho mandata. Suppose these two, vairagya and mumukshutva, mumuksha is feeble. Mumukshayoho viraktatva mumukshayoho. It is 6-2. Shashti vibhakti dvivachanam. Mumuksha is pratipadikam. Nava Shabdavta Ramayoho, Mumukshayoho, Viraktatvam cha Mumuksha cha. Viraktatva Mumukshayoho, Saptami, Shashti, Dvivachanam. Saptami also same form, but yes, Shashti. Etayoho, when they are feeble. Tatra, Yatra, Yatra referring to where? Where means where they are located. They are not located in a thing or some place. It is in the person. So Yatra referring to Yasmin Purushe, Yasmin Sadake. Yatra means where. Where Tatra means there. So Yatra in where, that is when the person, Yasmin Purushe, in that person, when these two are Mandata, feeble, that is Vairagya, dispassion, and Mumuksha, desire for moksha. In that person, Tatra, in that person, Shamadehe Bhanamatrata eva. Shamadehe means Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi. It is Bhanamatrata. It is, if it is there, Viveka, that Vairagya and Mumuksha is Manda, feeble, but Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti is, it's there in the person. Then the Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti is compared to Marau Salilavat. Marau Salilavat. Maru Bhubi. Maru is desert land, dry land. In the dry land, there is Salila means water. In the desert, there is water. How can there be water in the desert? What type of water is that? It is mirage water. When we say desert, where is water? Desert water. There is no water, but there appears water, mirage water. It is an appearance. The water is an appearance in the desert. That is Marau. Maru is a Pratipadika. Marau in the desert land, dry land. Salila, water. Salilavat, Jalavat. There appears to be water because of the sun rays. There appears to be water. When you approach, you will see dry land, and it may appear somewhere else. When you approach, again, it is dry land. So this is what is appearance. In fact, we use this example to present the mithyatvam of this jagat, the unreality of this world. Tomorrow, just like the mirage, you cannot quench your thirst by mirage water. What is the use of this water? Mirage water cannot quench my thirst. Therefore, it is fruitless, it is useless. Similarly, in the absence of this vairagya and mumukshutvam, the Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, etc., the sadhanas are just like mirage water. Maru Salilam, mirage water, Maru Salilavat. When Viveka and Vairagya are feeble and Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti are present and they are compared to the mirage water, it is like mirage water. It's not real water. It cannot quench the thirst. Similarly, they cannot produce a result. Result here is moksha. So Therefore, एतयोः विरक्तत्वमोक्षयोः यत्र mandata मरोसलिलवत्. When Vairagya and Mukshutvam is feeble, they cannot produce a result. Even when Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti are present, then it will be like a mirage water only. Feeble Mumukshutvam, feeble Vairagyam will not produce result. Maro means the water cannot quench my thirst. It means what is the use of that water? No use. Nishpalam bhavati. It is useless. So therefore, that manda vairagyam or manda mukshuttam should be made pravriddha. Only when it is made pravriddha, then only it is useful. Should be nourished. When it is apravriddha, when it is feeble, then they cannot produce the result. Therefore, Acharya says, Maro Saliravat Samadehe Bhanamatrata. Bhanamatrata means it's just an appearance. Like the mirage water, it's just an appearance, it will not produce the result. Therefore, Vairagyam and Mokshutva are important. Iti Acharya highlights. We will stop here. We will see the commentary of the 30th Shloka and this Shloka also the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
धन्यवादः
धन्यवादः सर
धन्यवाद.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी।